Be my guest, be my guest, be my guest with Sean Boy Joe. Be my guest, be my guest, be my guest with Sean Boy Joe.
Hello, my good friends. Welcome back to the Be My Guest podcast channel with me, your boy Sean Boy Joe, back for another video and another special one at that, because my guests today have something in common, which we're going to talk about very, very soon. I am joined by 90s icon Lizzie McPhee, who, of course, played one incarnation of Wizadora, and of course, James Propmaker is with us too, as he now owns both Top and Sticky from Lizzie's era as well. James has recently been on my channel. Lizzie, surprisingly, has not been on yet, but we will explain the story of how we met in due course. Now, Lizzie, thank you for agreeing to be on the channel.
That's fine, Sean.
I've been waiting for quite some time to have you on. We've had so many requests to have Wiz on the channel, and we will get to all of that very soon. But we must explain, first of all, how we met. And of course, on my channel, I put a little clip out of a different project that we were involved in way back in 2020, I think it was, just before the pandemic hit us. And you were coming on to a show about mental health and well-being to talk about positive discrimination in disability. And to cut a long story short, everybody was in awe, James. They were just looking at Lizzie thinking, this is an icon from our childhood here. And I asked Lizzie, would she be willing, after our long interview, to talk about Wizadora? And she said, of course. And that's exactly what she did. And the stories were incredible. So I went away and I said, well, we can't finish what we plan to do. So what shall we do from here? And podcasting was the way. And I went into the studio, and the first person I had was Ronnie Ledrew, who plays Zippy. And I have Lizzie to thank for it all. And we've come full circle because you are back here today. So, Lizzie, let's start with a little Lizzie. I want to know about Lizzie's growing up days, as I'm sure James wants to hear as well. So talk to us about what it was like for you growing up.
What was it like for me? I think I was quite naughty, actually. Yeah, I just sort of ran wild with my best friend Becky Dixon and Trudy Hardman. I don't know, we had this old house that had a cellar, and the cellar was really scary. I remember always wanting a horse, and we had lots of wardrobes in the cellar. So I always used to try and turn the wardrobes into a stable so that my mum would buy me a horse. Anyway, I never got a horse, of course. But growing up, yeah, I mean, I went to Disley County Primary School. I think I played Aladdin. Yeah, I definitely played Aladdin. And I was in the Brownies, and I think it was my brown owl that said I had to go into acting. I think that was her. And then I don't know, I just got involved with drama. I always liked horses. I remember how I did loads of jobs. I remember cleaning shoes, and then I worked in a greengrocer's. Yeah, I worked in an animal sanctuary saving animals, and foxes that had been clobbed over the head. That was really bad. And ex-race horses that had been mistreated. So I really enjoyed that. And then the awful thing was that I started getting interested in boys and then left the animal sanctuary, and it all went downhill from there.
Blame the boys.
But I definitely should have stayed at the animal sanctuary. Yeah.
Us boys aren't worth it for the animal sanctuary, are we?
No. Well, no. No, actually, to be fair, the reason I left the animal sanctuary was because I had a really bad accident.
Right.
I was galloping around. I used to jump on horses in fields and just gallop round. And I was jumping on this horse once and galloped round, and she stopped, Jasmine, and then I got back on because she had to get back on, and I'd broken my collarbone, and I was galloping around with a broken collarbone. Oh, it was so painful. So that put a stop to that. But yeah, I grew up in sort of Cheshire, Manchester, and then came to London when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
And I've never gone back. So
There we go. So
yeah.
from Manchester to London,
Yes.
very different.
Yeah. No, not well. Yeah, some bits are different. People are a bit friendlier in Manchester. They definitely share a bit more, I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So thank you for sharing with us, Lizzie, a little bit about your background. And of course, I want to come on to the progression now, as you say, going from, working the everyday job, the animal sanctuaries and all that sort of stuff, to how you actually got into television, because you were in lots of, well, you started out on the stage, I believe.
Well, those jobs were when I was a child. So I went to drama school at 18.
Right.
So you couldn't go to drama school. You don't go to drama school till you're 18. So I went to drama school at 18, left at 21. I was really lucky. I got an agent and a really good job. Yeah, I played Lucy Honeychurch in A Room with a View. And then I got some really good jobs in the theatre. I didn't really do much TV. I did a bit of TV here and there, but I didn't really do much TV. I wasn't that interested in TV.
Right.
I was very idealistic. I definitely wanted to work with Ken Loach. He was who I wanted to work with. I'd still definitely want. I mean, Ken Loach is my hero. And then I did, TV, and I don't even. Yeah, in terms of, I think I've told you this story before, that I was doing a play with somebody who was auditioning for this children's TV show that I hadn't even seen, and it was a 3 or 4-hander actually, and she kept going for recalls. Anyway, for some reason I managed to get an audition. I don't know why I got an audition. My agent just phoned me and said, "Oh, you've got an audition for this," and it was for Wizadora. I didn't even know what Wizadora was, and then I got it. And that was really terrible because this girl was devastated, and I didn't tell her that I'd got it. But the producers and everybody came to watch our play because we were both in this play, and that was terrible as well. So that was the bad thing about getting Wizadora, that she didn't get it. So
I remember that story very well. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that story. So you've come full on, but I mean, you say you didn't do an awful lot of TV, but I mean, I was surprised and I was searching for this, but you actually had a small role in Coronation Street.
Yeah, that was my first ever job on the TV.
Wow.
My first, yeah, I think I just left drama. I don't think I've been long out of, I don't know when I did that. Not been long out of drama school.
Right.
I do remember in those days it was just TV was very well paid, and theatre was not well paid. So it was all very welcome, the TV.
Yeah. And very different now. And what a way to start out in an institutional British soap. Wonderful indeed. But no, I do love your story of how you got into Wizardora, because you did step into her shoes very nicely. And we must explain, because there's a lot of confusion as to sort of how Wizardora started out. And James, you will know very much so how Wizardora started as well. But I remember asking you, Lizzie, many years ago when we met, do you know the backstory of Wizardora? And you were like, no, I never seen it, and I didn't know, the history of it. So let's explain to our viewers. James, do you want to explain how Wizardora first came about?
Well, it came about originally as a learning program for like ABCs and that for before ITV got the
Yes.
series. I actually met one of my friends at the puppet thing in London when I was walking around with Sticky. And he goes, "Oh, I remember that show." It's like, well, I don't really know who you are.
Mhm.
But he goes, "I did the very first series that wasn't on ITV, and it's when they're like sock puppets. They're using sock puppets instead of
I remember.
proper latex puppets." And then obviously that show did, I think went to VHS, only VHS only, and that was when ITV then picked up the rights and did the obviously series that we have that everyone knows really.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you are right. So originally it was a teaching tool for non-English speakers, and Maria Goth was the original Wizadora. And we also have the fabulous actress Emma Amos, who was in the costume of Phoebe, a big pink costume as well. Very different to the life-size model that we're used to. And of course, we have a certain Fawlty Towers writer, Connie Booth, and John Cleese to thank for the fact that Wizadora made it to ITV, because he summed interest in the series. And then for a pilot episode, Connie Booth got to play Wizadora. So, Lizzie, you are in good company. You really are.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a bit of history that you didn't know.
I didn't know. So Connie Booth was John Cleese's wife, yes.
Yes.
And she played in Fawlty Towers. She was the waitress. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because she wrote some of the episodes actually.
She did. She went on to write some of your episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she wrote some of the really good ones because some of them were really good. I think there was one man called Dan Ariely. Dan
Oh yes, he
Ariely.
was the co-creator. Yeah.
He wrote some really great episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some really funny ones, and those two wrote the funny ones, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Coming from a comedy background, I think that's right. And Don Ariely, of course, was the creator of Wizardora, along with Caroline Cullum. So yeah. So that's a little bit of history. Thank you, James, for sharing the history of Wizardora way back in
Thanks, James.
1991, way before it was taken up by ITV. And then, of course, we were graced with Wendy. I always remember as a child, James, watching the original ITV episodes of Wendy when she had the long hair. And then all of a sudden she had this haircut, and saying to my mother, "Have they changed actresses here?" But it was the same actress. They'd just given her a different hairstyle. And then I can remember specifically when being bitterly disappointed at one point, going to see Wizardora live, thinking this cast is completely different. And I'm like, I don't want to watch this now. And I just thought, my mum's paid all this money and the cast are not the same. So it's as everything programs progress.
All the programs back then, like in the 90s and early 2000s,
Yeah.
they put on Labour Days, but they're all like rushed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're all like rushed to try and cash in.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you've obviously got like official licensing now for it to be more as it was on TV.
More realistic.
But back then it was just an afterthought for them to try and cash in.
Yeah. Well, I don't really remember anything about the live performance, but one good thing that we must say about Wizardora itself was the fact that it had such a longevity, and that it pretty much stayed the same throughout its run on ITV, apart from the amount of puppeteers and actors that were used in the performance. James, you'll know better than I do, but I was fascinated to read that. I think it was the Phoebe the phone had about 6 or 7 voice actors that voiced her throughout its run.
Yeah, I mean, trouble is with like puppeteers, like now and back in the day.
Yeah.
They've always had different job roles, so they might only have a few days on that set, and then they'd be going on to the next sort of TV program. So it's very rotational. So it's never one person for one puppet. It's always they shared it basically. Yeah.
Absolutely. And one of those big names is, of course, the puppeteer and voice actress who voiced a little someone in your left hand.
Somewhere, yeah. Should I find Sticky?
Here we go. Let's have a look, Sticky.
No,
We
it's
must
in
say that
Sticky.
Rebecca Nagan was the voice artist for Sticky.
Is it?
Oh, that is so cute. Did you make him?
That's your
Okay.
original puppet, Lizzie.
Wow, I remember Sticky.
That's the original puppet that was used in your episodes, but James has restored them.
Wow, James, you're so clever.
And they still work. You see, they've got the moving mechanism. So, James, explain to us how Sticky works. I know that in the previous podcast
So
you explained, but explain to Lizzie how they work.
it's all hand triggers. So you got sort of things the eye and the blink.
Oh, so
Yeah.
cute.
Does it bring back memories, Lizzie, of your Wizadora days?
Yeah, I did like those three, the draw people.
Yeah.
I like the draw people. But I like the naughty crows the most, I think.
Oh, yes. Well, they gave a different dynamic to the show. I think the draw people did. And I mean, so much so that when Wizadora first came out, I remember there was lots of speculation around whether we can have these characters in a children's TV show. Of course,
What, you
we've
mean
got
people in
the
the
main.
draw?
What's
I
that?
think Top wants to say hello.
Oh, go ahead.
And Top say hello.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, bring out
Very
Top.
good.
Top's here as well.
He's a bit in
What?
bad condition, but he's all right. But
Have you got
some
Bottom
muffins
as
now.
well, James? Have you
What's
got
that?
Bottom? Have you got Bottom as well?
Oh, I'm afraid not. No, he's
No,
gone
Ah.
missing.
You'll have to make him. You'll have to rebuild him, James. There he is.
Oh, he's lovely. Good old Top and Sticky and Bottom. The naughty draw
Absolutely.
people.
Oh, they're wonderful. And as I was saying in the beginning, in the early days, James, they had to be very careful about what they could do with these characters because essentially they were menaces. I mean, they were characters that would steal things. So you had to be very careful at what you could do in terms of kids TV. And I suppose, Lizzie, playing Wiz as well, and you probably didn't have to think about this as much as Wendy did because you stepped into her shoes. But I guess playing essentially a witch on television must have been quite groundbreaking for kids TV.
Well, I didn't think I would. I thought she was, if she was a witch, she's the nicest witch I've ever met.
Absolutely.
She was I think that's why they called her a wizard, because
Right.
witches are mean, but
Yeah.
wizards just make things happen. And that's
Yeah.
what she did. She just made things happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're lovely. They're beautiful, James, and you've kept them and preserved them well. So take us through the restoration then, about what you've done to restore them.
Nothing. No, I have. All the mouth plates were gone in Top, which I've now all repaired and that.
Yeah.
Sticky is literally living up to her name, and it is Sticky underneath. It's very bit tacky, but
must be yucky to use them now. Yeah.
Yeah, they've gone stiff and they're not very that malleable anymore. But I will, when I get time, I will do them because
will you recover them, James? Like where
yeah,
because he's bits rubbing off, aren't there?
Yeah, so the process is called flocking. Do you know what flocking is?
No.
What it is you get like a glue, you can glue over them, and there's like this machine that's electronically charged. So you put the machine like clip on there.
Yeah.
And then this machine's got a load of like very, very fine bits of fabric.
Right.
And then you just spray it on and the glue attracts to it. And
Right.
that's what the flocking does. But yeah, it's gone in places.
Yeah, on his nose, on the nose, it's gone, hasn't it?
Yeah. But some of Sticky's spikes is missing too, because I've got the original spikes here. That's how I identified this one, was from your series, through the spikes.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And also, obviously, Top was your one as well. But
Oh wow, you can identify them just from those spikes. I wouldn't have
yeah,
even known that.
yeah, and obviously very like first series 90p, sticky
Right.
was a much lighter tone and color as well. But
Oh, I see.
you are definitely from your series.
I see.
Oh.
Because Lizzie, you did I know there's speculation, but you did 2 series of Wizardora, didn't you, back in 97 and then early 98?
Well, if you say so, Sean, you know more. You know more about everything than
Well,
I.
I only remember that
No,
because
no, Sean, I think that's right. Yes, 97
I
and
think
90.
so, because that's what you
Yeah.
said to me before. But then I sort of looked online. I thought this is really strange. But so yes, and did you do something like 36 episodes?
36 episodes in one go. Yeah,
Wow.
that's a lot. I think we did 36 episodes in 6 weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of TV in
Yeah.
Yeah,
6 weeks.
And
Yeah.
especially when you've got, lines like, Wizardora had to do all of these magic spells and say all these lines. It must have been quite tricky to learn.
It was, I think the first time I did it, I had to go on holiday. I had to take off. I think I had to take off time before I started it to
Right,
learn all the lines. I remember
right.
saying to my agent, I can't do any jobs for a month because the scripts were crazy.
Yeah,
And you had to know what, yeah, it was so much to learn.
right.
So 36 different scripts of Wizardy Whiz Bang Wobble Double Do. My
Yeah,
name is Adora. How are you? Yeah, although some of it rhymed, it didn't make any sense. It was nonsensical. So
right.
it was very difficult to learn, and that was the most difficult thing about the whole program. So it looks very easy, and it was very easy, and it was a joy, but it was only a joy if you knew your lines.
Well, you made it look effortless. I mean, to come
Yeah.
into a role that is very well established, and for people to say, well, actually, it's Wizardora, and we can't really tell the difference was, testimony to you because,
And I
I
think we were different. I mean, we were definitely. I mean, I think I can't remember. So I can't remember what I've told you before, but I do remember,
right.
like one of the dads saying the dads liked me and the moms like Wendy was nicer than I was apparently.
I would disagree.
Which no, I mean, she came across as a nice. I don't know. I think I was a bit naughtier and she was a bit not. I don't know.
I don't know if I can say this, but there was one episode, and James, you'll know this from Wendy's era that I had nightmares over, which was the tantrum episode where she was on the floor screaming, and I thought, well, this is not nice for me. I mean, I think Wendy was more stern, so she was more the teacher. This is what's going to happen now, and you
No.
are being naughty, you're being this. Whereas you were more, well, I'm a wizard and I'm just happy being a wizard.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I
did.
think
I did have fun doing it actually.
Yeah,
yeah, Lizzie's area
yeah,
was more fun, more upbeat, more
yeah,
energetic sort of thing.
yeah. But also, we must explain. Wendy went away to have a child, and it was only recently when I was watching back her episodes of my little one that I noticed her baby bump in the last set of episodes that she's done. So I thought that's quite interesting. But no, of course, Wendy brought a magic twinkle to her eye, and she played Wizardora to a T. Absolutely, and you came in, Lizzie, and you took over that role and did a fantastic job. And it's always difficult when you have to take over an established role because people are going to say, well, you've got big shoes to fill. But of course, you were working with very prestigious people like Steve Ride, who had played Tatty, for a number of years prior to Joe Greco. I always wonder, James, and I haven't been able to ask anybody else this, but it always makes me ponder um, why they chose Steve Wright to take over the role of Tatty. I know he was fantastic and
He
the
was
perfect
actually.
fit.
Why did they choose? Why did he take over?
I'm not sure. And from a West Country guy, that is, of course, Steve Wright to Joe Greco, who is very Cockney. It was almost like the characters were very different, James.
Yeah, it's probably down to like availability really. That's
Right.
anything I can really think of.
Yeah. But I just remember watching, thinking, why has he changed from a Cockney geezer to a West Country farmer? Never made sense to me.
I don't know. I really don't know.
There
I've
you
never
go.
watched Joe Greco, actually.
Right.
No, I've never watched him. Maybe I'll have
He
to
was
watch.
sort of like the big kid that would climb through the windows and bounce about. He was very sort of, he was more, I guess, more innocent than Tatty was. Tatty was sort of bumbly, and Joe was sort of, well, I'm just the big brother who's just going to mess about now. So he played him very, very differently to the way
Where
that,
did Joe Greco go then?
probably to become a superstar, because he has been in absolutely everything imaginable. I
As
should
in,
imagine he went on to cable television. He's worked with on TCC. He's also done many, many other programs. I mean, he's just up to here with. If I did a podcast with Joe James, I would be here for a year, quite literally, with
I've
the
no
amount of work
idea
that he's
oh,
done.
that's terrible. Sorry, Joe Greco. I'll have to
I
find
mean,
out.
he's literally been in everything imaginable when it comes to kids' TV. But yes, no, he was fantastic at playing Tatty as well. But yes, so James, you've still got Sticky there, and you've still got Top. You're on the hunt for Bottom, aren't you? And you haven't been able to find him yet.
Yeah, I mean, I will try and find him,
Yeah.
but it's not an end all because I can
Right.
easily make him anyway. So
Absolutely.
You can
We must
easily
explain, 'cause we
make
didn't
him,
explain.
James.
I could make him. Yeah,
Wow,
could.
you're so clever.
I'm not that
Absolutely.
clever.
We
You
must
are.
explain to those that hadn't seen the previous podcast with us quickly how we met, because we actually met through our mutual interest of Wizadora. And of
Yeah.
course, I was telling Lizzie beforehand that we met at the Phil Eason auction. I didn't know
Yeah.
who you were back then, had no idea. And here was this crazy guy who was just bidding, all this amount of money for these puppets, thinking he's crazy. What does he want with these puppets from 30 years ago? And then
Well, when I saw you walked in,
yes,
because I was standing at the back, and I
yes,
saw you walked in, I was like, oh,
he's going to
no,
bid on these.
he's going to win them. He's going to want them.
No, I was like, I can't go as high as you have gone. And I'm
They didn't
pleased,
go
actually,
high.
in the
They
end,
didn't
they
go
went
high.
to you, because it was not like you're just using them for personal reasons. You're actually using them to restore them, which is lovely. And Lizzie James is looking to build a museum with all these puppets that he's got. He's got lots
Yeah,
of
hopefully.
puppets.
Where would the museum be, James?
I have no clue.
Right.
It's just a thought going around at the minute, and
You've
He's
got some.
just dreaming, which is nice.
trying to
What are those
collect as
ones you've
much.
got behind you? Those purpley blue ones. What are they from? Did you make those?
This is Morris and Millie.
They're from Playdays, aren't they, James?
Yeah, they're from Playdays, Morris and Millie.
Did you make those as well?
No,
They're the original, aren't they?
well, original.
Wow.
They would have been very handy in my Playdays reunion that I did. We should have got you involved there, James. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Look at them. They're lovely.
Yeah,
My favourite
They're
colour.
wonderful. They're wonderful. So, Lizzie, talk to us then about those Wizadora days. Of course, people are going to some interest about your days as Wiz, and you spoke about some of the wonderful episodes that were written, and there were some really good ones. And I always particularly loved the episodes that Brian Murphy was in, because he's a great comedy actor, still going strong
He's
today.
amazing. Brian Murphy, he's not just a great actor, he's a very humble, professional person, and incredibly kind, just very normal, didn't have an ego.
Right.
Yeah, he's brilliant, actually. Just effortless.
I always think it must have been quite challenging for him, being, prior to that sitcom royalty with George and Mildred and Lots of the Summer Wine and all those programs, to actually step into a children's program. Must have been quite a challenge for him, knowing that he's now playing to a completely different audience. But watching him, it gave the adults a chance to go, well, we know this guy. We recognise him. He's quite funny. Here's something for the adults to enjoy.
Yeah, I just think as an actor, it's very difficult to earn a living as an actor unless you're incredibly successful. So you have to earn a living, and if you can make a living out of acting, then that's an incredible privilege. So, if you have to do one thing one day and something else the next day, that's all part of the tapestry of being an actor. And I don't think people mind really. I don't think it's nice to do everything. It's nice to try a bit of everything. And to be honest with you, it's acting is acting, whether it's for children. And actually, children are far more discerning than adults. So I do remember once doing a matinee of Romeo and Juliet, school's matinee, and I was playing Juliet, and honestly, I can't remember where I think it was in Bracknell, in a theatre in Bracknell, and it was the matinees were for schools because it was on the syllabus, and they were making so much noise. And I just remember thinking, if I can hold this lot of really rowdy children, then I can get through anything. And so, yeah, I don't think it matters if it's for children or adults. It's just acting. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, share with us some of your happy memories of Wizadora, because you did 2 series of that, and
Yeah, I
I
mean,
remember you telling me the floor staff were amazing on there, and
Zara, yeah, she was amazing. Blonde Irish, she was from Northern Ireland. She's absolutely amazing. But there was also um the first series was especially beautiful, I think, for me. It was just quite magical. I remember I really enjoyed eating all the sweets on the back because we had a lot of props. I can't remember if Wizadora had sweets in her jars or if it was at Stan's shop. But anyway, I did used to eat the sweets. I used to eat a lot of the sweets. I used to love the skateboard. The puppets were on a skateboard, and I remember sort of roaming around on that. I think the crows were my favorite. So any scenes with the crows were absolutely great. I used to love wearing the trainers because when I took over from Wizadora, I said I really want trainers. So I just remember bouncing around the sets. That was great.
Were they kickers?
No, I actually went. In fact, the first costume person was called Ailsa, and I remember going to the King's Road with her and choosing really big green and purple trainers, and yeah, they were just dead comfy. And there was some amazing, just like amazing people. Catherine Kirkwood, who's the producer, she was a beautiful woman. She's actually got horses as well, and my friend met her, and we sort of communicated. That was quite interesting. So yeah, Steve Ride was lovely. It was great, and it was a very happy time. But then the second series was quite difficult. I think I said I'd had a very bad car crash. I was told by the doctor that I should not go to work, but I thought, well, I've already signed a contract, so I'm going to do it. So I did go, and obviously the original director was unfortunately didn't do the next series. So a different person took over who was very nice, but very different. But the puppeteers were especially lovely on the first series. I just remember Michael and Barney, and a few of them were just great. And then on the second series, some of them were lovely, but there was one particularly difficult person. And yeah.
You should remain nameless.
Oh, yeah, of course. But
name and shame.
people if you work with someone that's difficult, they can make it difficult.
Yeah.
Like bad energy spreads.
Yeah.
It really does, actually, and good energy is contagious.
Absolutely.
But and in the entertainment industry, lots of people have huge egos, huge. But lovely. That's why Brian Murphy's so beautiful, because he hasn't. Yeah. He's just so good and got no ego, and he's just wonderful.
Yeah.
But it was a wonderful thing to do, and something that I never expected, and something that I never appreciated, actually. I never really appreciated what Wizadora meant because I'd never watched it. But I remember the first time I was in Safeways in Fulham, and it was I think I just literally, my first episode had come out, and this girl came up to me and asked me for an autograph, and I was so shocked and so sort of, I don't know.
Humbled.
No, I didn't. I don't think I dealt with it very well because I
Oh,
didn't.
right, okay.
Well, yeah, I was humble, but I just didn't. I thought, oh,
You couldn't understand why she was asking.
I mean, what do you want an autograph of me for?
Yeah.
I think I remember doing a pantomime on the back of doing Wizadora, and literally people used to queue outside waiting for autographs, and it was just, I don't know. It's
Well, I guess
very,
that helped being in a commercial pantomime because they could bill you as Wizadora from children's ITV.
yeah, they could, but what I'm saying is, for me, that was a part of it I was never comfortable with.
Right.
Um, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, maybe I just found it a bit strange. I found being an actor a bit strange. I mean, I loved it and I had a great time. I definitely had a great time. It was amazing. I was so spoiled and so looked after. But it is weird that people, like, if I was to go for an autograph, I'd want an autograph from a nurse that like saved my child, like
Right.
not an actor. Do you know? I mean, actors,
Yeah.
It's a great thing to do, but you're not saving lives. Like when you meet nurses who save lives and work all day,
Yeah.
get very paid very not a lot of money, and then as an actor you get paid a lot of money. You get your makeup done, you get everyone's nice to you, and
Mm-hmm.
you just sort of think, oh, and you want my autograph. I don't know. It's a bit topsy turvy. That's what I think.
I can understand what you mean, yeah. But I
Yeah,
mean, I think my auntie would be very thankful to you that well, I could put my nephew in front of the TV for hours and you are my babysitter. So,
oh yeah,
in that way, it works.
right. Well, that's good to know, Sean.
Yeah, me repeating it hundreds of times on the VHS tape. Oh, you're not watching this episode again? Yes, I am.
Ah.
So yeah, it was always great, and you had a great hand actually. You were talking about Wizadora's shoes previously and all that sort of stuff. You had a great hand in Wizadora's costumes, and you really wanted to not take away, what Wendy had done, but you wanted to feel comfortable and make her your own.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I just wanted to be a bit young. I had very short, sort of punky hair. I
Yeah.
did have very short hair, and I just sort of thought she should be a little bit more modern. When I watched, I'd never seen it before, but then I saw her in these sorts of like dresses, and like they were sort of smocky type dresses. And I just sort of thought they were a little bit old fashioned and they looked like something from the retro 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean the costumes were they were still quite fun, but maybe just a little bit more modern.
That's it, tights and little dresses and that sort of stuff, which is lovely. And we never got to see what Wizardora would have been like, James, had they have continued, because the pilot episode for the rebranded series that they were going to do on Channel 5 never made it out on air because it was far too expensive to create. And I think it was Hit Entertainment that were going to take that up.
I didn't
But
even know about that. I didn't know they were
they
going to
did
do.
a pilot episode in 2003 for a planned remake for Channel 5's Milkshake Strand, but it never
Really?
came to fruition because it was just far too expensive to make. So yeah, that's why they were doing the tour off the back of it to see whether people were still interested in it. A few years after it ended. But thank God for the repeats as well, because they repeated it from start to finish on children's ITV for many years afterwards, and of course on cable as well. So that was lovely. So yeah, it's been wonderful chatting about Wizardora and having all of these lovely memories. And you have been reunited with Top and Sticky, which has been wonderful. I'm going to come to you, Lizzie, very soon and ask a little bit before we go about the TV that you were watching when you were younger. But I just want to ask James, have you got any burning questions that you want to ask Lizzie?
Um, just one really. What was it like working with puppeteers underneath your feet?
Oh, it
right.
was so, you know what? I was really in awe of the puppeteers. I was, yeah, especially Michael Bayliss he was Hangul in the first series. And he was so extraordinary. And I just thought that they were technical geniuses. I just thought that it's a really, really, there's a lot of craftsmanship that goes into being a puppeteer. So they're acting and they're maneuvering the puppet, and it was amazing. They were amazing. And obviously they were so good at their job that they created these characters that you
Mhm.
didn't really think that they were puppets, you just felt they were little creatures. And I don't know how you get to be a puppeteer, but I have a lot of admiration for them. And actually, what was great about the puppeteers was that there was a lot of things happening at that time with puppets. Obviously, there was Spitting Image, and then there was something else going on with in Australia. I remember Barney was going off to do something. Fraggle, I don't know what they were going to do, but they were all going off somewhere. There was a lot of things being made with puppets. That's why I know that um, Michael Bayliss couldn't come back, and then most of them didn't come back actually, because they went off to do something else. But yeah, I really love working with puppeteers. They're really good, really funny. And they weren't I think some of them were actors, but some of them were just I don't mean just puppeteers. I mean, that was what they wanted to do. That was their
Yeah.
skill. And they were very funny. They had amazing comic timing. The guy playing Bottom, that was Barney. He was extraordinary. And the woman playing, yeah, they were all really good actually. They were brilliant. Mm.
Let me ask you, James, then. From Lizzie's era, what was your favorite episode? What stands out to you?
Oh, I'm not that clued up on episodes. um, I watched one last night actually, the one where I think it was Bottom got the wand and he's making everyone disappear. That's one I remember from last night. Yeah,
Wizadora disappears.
that's it. Yeah, I just liked all the scenes that was like the puppets involved, with
I remember that
how.
episode because it was on a VHS tape of all different CITV episodes, and it was the only one that Lizzie's era was on video. So I remember watching that constantly on repeat because it was the only one that I could get on videotape. So that's interesting. Yeah, but Lizzie, let's come to before we wrap up, coming to present day, and you're in a very different line of work. We all keep saying to you, and James will agree, that you could always come back as Wizadora's mum. We never got to hear her mum. She was only on the telephone.
Grandma,
Grandma.
great grandma.
I doubt that. You don't look a day over the age you did back in 97.
Oh, you're so nice.
Shall I zoom in?
No, well, you can actually. My skin is quite good. It's. I think I'm about twice the size I was when I was with Adora.
So talk to us then, Lizzie, about the current work that you are doing. Very, very different. You've left the acting world behind, haven't you?
I did. It wasn't easy actually, but I was making when I became a mother, I was making a mess of the mothering and the acting. Yeah, it was really difficult because my husband also, he worked abroad all the time and it was just unmanageable. So I made a transition, and I think I told you, Sean, I went to study law.
Yeah.
And now I work with people that just come out of prison, and I really like it. I really
You've got a
love it.
grown-up job now, an important one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great job. And actually, I do I do a play every Christmas.
Right.
She's really difficult. Like, it's hard enough getting some of them to come in for their appointments. But every Christmas, I put a play on, and 3 of them on the back of that have started. One of them's become a professional actor. One of them's at Lambda, and the other one is sort of dipping his hand in and out. But 2 of them were amazing. So, to go from being a drug dealer to becoming an actor is a great thing. 2 of them, that's 2 of them.
Yeah.
And they're really, really talented. So that has given me so much joy. And actually working with people, using drama as a tool for people to explore just group situations, that's been great. But I love my job. It's very interesting, and it's a privilege. I get to drink lots of tea.
Mm.
I eat too many biscuits. And, I'm not saying that I'll never go back into acting. At the moment, I've got other things that I'm pursuing, not in
Absolutely.
acting. But I think the great thing I remember doing a play, I did An Ideal Husband once. Another great job I did with so many amazing costumes. But there was an actress there who was 89, and I think she was Lady Markby, and in Oscar Wilde. And I just thought, well, once my children don't need me, and maybe I can, or maybe I won't, or it was a beautiful time of my life. I had a beautiful time, went to so many great places, and was treated like a princess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm definitely not missing it.
But you're pondering, I can see now.
No, I do. I go to the theatre a lot. I went to see Guys and Dolls.
Oh,
You've
lovely.
seen that, Guys and Dolls?
I was in Guys and Dolls years ago, a long
Wow. Well, I
time
went
ago.
to see the national production of Guys and Dolls at the
Right.
Tower. Oh my God, it was amazing. And when I see great actors, then I miss it. I miss the stage. I miss the theatre.
Mm.
I do miss that. And yeah.
Now, I don't think there's anything like it. I mean, I miss the theatre. I spent a good decade in the theatre and all sorts of musicals and that sort of stuff. So that's something I can resonate with. You don't get, an interaction with the audience like you do anywhere else. It's just marvelous. But as we said, Lizzie, never say never. And we could see a reprise for Wizadora's grandmother one day, if we could see something like that return. But of course, kids telly is not the same nowadays as it was back when you were growing up. So give us a little insight, Lizzie, about what you were watching as a wee Lizzie on
I
the telly.
watched Finger Bobs. Do you remember Finger Bobs? I watched the Clangers. The Clangers. I watched Mr. Ben. Do you remember Mr. Ben?
Mr. Ben.
Mhm.
I watched Rhubarb and Custard one. Yeah, watched that one. And then, what else did I watch? The Wombles of Wimbledon. Common, are we?
They're coming back, aren't they, very soon?
Are they?
They
I
are.
love the Wombles. I'm a bit like a Womble.
Mm-hmm.
I love finding things. I get so excited
So
finding.
you weren't watching very much, Lizzie. Just everything.
No, I wasn't watching that much actually. I don't.
Right.
But I remember the thing I watched the most of all. I remember watching Oliver as a child. Love that. But there was a program once with Mark Lester about a white horse, and the horse got stuck in quicksand. It's all the horses back again. I remember watching that. Black Beauty. I used to love Black Beauty. I remember the theme tunes more.
I do.
But I don't think we watched much TV as children. We just didn't. But I loved with my children. I watched the Teletubbies. And my friend Poi Fan Lee, she was the red Teletubby, so that was exciting. She was. And I'm trying to think what else they watched.
She was.
I love Peppa Pig. Yeah, I love Peppa Pig.
That's nice. You're the first person on this channel to say you like Peppa Pig.
Really?
Well, everybody says, well, Peppa Pig has got us out of work because animation has taken over and we need big presenters in studios presenting.
Oh no, I love
Yeah.
Daddy Pig. Whoever Daddy Pig is, I love Daddy Pig. Yeah, so yeah, I love children's love loads of children's TV.
Oh, lovely. I did an interview last week actually with Chris Jarvis, the CBBC presenter, who worked very closely with Boy because they presented on CBeebies when the channel launched. So that was lovely. So see, we've got connections again.
Yeah,
See
yeah,
all through.
sure.
And your little finger mouse was had little Ian Luckland on the end of it. Yeah. So yeah, that was wonderful. And you know, he always brings out finger mouse when he does panto as well. So that's nice. And yeah, so thank you, Lizzie. Thank you,
Sean.
James.
Thanks,
It's been
James.
wonderful. How has it been, Lizzie, to be reunited with Top and Sticky after all these years?
Oh, it was really nice. I'm sure that they don't recognize me with my soaking wet hair.
Well, you'll need a spell for that, won't you? If only Wizadora had a spell now.
And my glasses. No, Top and Sticky are really nice. Actually, you know, I think I might go and watch a little episode now. But
have you still got them?
I've got all the boxes. I've got all the videos, all of them. In fact,
they need to go on some sort of disc. You can't use videotapes nowadays.
Yeah,
so.
I know. And somebody says that they lose their quality. But somebody contacted me actually and said that he would do them for me.
That might have been me.
No, it wasn't you.
Oh, was it not? Because I remember you asking me before.
What?
You can convert them to digital.
Yeah, somebody contacted me, James, and said that he would put them on a DVD for me. I can't remember who it was.
I remember you asking me before. You said you had loads of them on tape and you wanted them put to DVD, but that was a long time ago. Yeah.
Very good, because a lot of your episodes not money on YouTube, is there?
No.
You've only got a handful on YouTube, which is a shame.
You've got well, interestingly, one of Lizzie's episodes, they decided to broadcast for CITV's anniversary back in, I think, was it 2013, James?
Yeah, around there, yeah.
Yeah, so we had Wizadora. I don't know the episode's name. I think it was Who is Important, which was a nice episode with Stan. I think he was trying to open a new shop or something. So that was lovely. And Princess Persephone of Peckham was coming, and Wizadora was very upset that she wasn't invited. So that was nice to see Wizadora again on.
Not too long ago, ITVX did it for Wendy's series, didn't they?
Oh, they put one episode out on BritBox, yes, for the very first episode, but they haven't put anything else.
Well, they might do it in the future with Lizzie's because they are trying to reintroduce more children's programs from back in the day. So they might do it because they can do it.
Maybe, but they've only put one episode of Wendy's out, so we'll see. But hopefully they will. I'm not sure if your episodes are broadcast quality, Lizzie, but I think they will. And I remember years ago somebody from ITV PLC from the archive saying that if you want these broadcast episodes, I think it's like £50 for like 2 episodes for half an hour or something. I'm like, that's a bit steep. I remember asking somebody about, but I don't know whether it's the same now, James.
It's millions. If you want to broadcast something on TV, it costs millions.
I mean, if you wanted an episode of Lizzie's, a broadcast episode, they can put it onto a disc, but it's going to be £50 for half an hour, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it does vary. I really shop around with it and don't try not to trust.
We'll just ask Lizzie. She's got them all on VHS. She can lend them to you.
I've got all.
I ain't got the time. I ain't got the time to do digital.
What are you doing now, James? Are you making puppets all day?
I've got a full-time job. I weld and fabricate gates and railings and that. But as my hobby, I do make puppets for they mainly go to America for autistic children to help parents interact with the child. So, yeah, I
That's
think I've
lovely.
got one now. I gotta get one quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
show
go
me,
ahead.
James. It's amazing. Look, you see, we're all popping off today. Sean, me to put some dry trousers on.
Yeah.
James to get his poppet.
Oh. Oh,
Oh.
I've seen this one.
That's
Is that
amazing.
Rolo?
Oh,
Yeah.
Rolo.
He doesn't speak, does he? He's like Sooty, he's silent.
And you made that?
Yeah, I made it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're so
Amazing.
clever, James.
Not that clever.
Amazing.
And James has just finished making puppets for a Canadian children's television series as well, which was amazing. I'm very
Yeah,
proud.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah, for Inuit children. Yeah. Preschool. Because they don't have children's programs over there. So I think mine might have been the first one to be
Really?
broadcast on. Yeah. They don't have preschool children like TV programs over there.
Wow.
Wow.
No.
I
James,
can't
you should-
imagine
It's not the culture, you see. So it's only
Wow.
just been slowly been brought back in, like for preschool children to have
So it was all imported stuff
dedicated
then?
program. Well, they didn't have it. They didn't. It's not. It wasn't that. It's not the
Wow.
culture to watch children's TV. You see,
Because
I
the
did
it's
children
not
were
not
all
the
know
playing
that.
outside in Canada.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the children in London are all sat inside.
They're busking with their guitars like Justin Bieber. That's what they're doing. Yeah.
Oh, is he Canadian, Justin Bieber?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
We could learn a thing or two, but there you go. Oh, well, Lizzie, it's been amazing chatting to you, and same to you, James. Can we, before we
Thank you.
leave, just see Top and Sticky once more to say goodbye? And then I'm going to ask Lizzie, if she will, as Wizadora all those years ago, to tell our listeners why they should subscribe to this channel. And she's going to think of a little magic potion.
what's the channel called?
This channel is called the Be My Guest channel, where I chat to blasts from the past in a podcast.
Okay.
And you have been one of them, Lizzie, which has been incredible.
Wow. Do you want me to do it now?
Go on then.
Well, talk about putting me on the spot, Sean. Okay, everyone. Wizardy whiz bang, wizardy woo. Watching Sean is good for you. A blast from the past is incredible telly. So watch it while you eat chocolate and get swelly. Sorry.
You still got it, see?
Well, not really. I only know about eating chocolate and getting swelly.
She's still got it. Absolutely brilliant. And we will all wave to Sticky there.
Oh, little Sticky. Bye, Sticky. Bye, James. That is lovely that you made those.
Originals.
Amazing.
Originals,
Amazing.
restoring the originals.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Original.
And Nick Mercer was very, very pleased, James, when I spoke to him about Green Claws. He was very happy to have him back as well.
Yeah, that was a good job, that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
And Lizzie, if you need anything restored, then just go to James if you've got any. I don't suppose you've got much of Wizadora now. There wasn't really much about, was there really? I mean, apart from the video tapes and magazines, they didn't really launch it for products.
No, I don't, to be honest with you, I don't really have time for anything other than going to work and cooking and get I don't have time to do anything like that. No, I don't have time for hobbies, but I'm sure I will when I get older.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Lizzie. Thank you, James.
Thanks, Sean.
It's been to meet a long time in the making doing this. Yes, it's been wonderful to see you again, James. And Lizzie, after all this time as well, we've come full circle. And as I said in the beginning, I do have Lizzie to thank for the success of this.
So you have yourself to thank, James. You have yourself to thank. I mean, Sean.
Oh, well, you are very kind, but you were the first person before I had this long list of contacts. You were the first person that I miraculously managed to find, and I'm so pleased that I did. And you came down, and you were amazing to meet in person. The very first blast from the past that I managed to meet. And as I said, we've come full circle. So thanks, Lizzie. Thanks, James. It's been amazing chatting to you. As
Thanks.
Wizadora says, why don't you click that subscribe button, the notification bell, to be updated? If you don't, she will zap you into those drawers, just like she did with the draw people all those years ago. So you don't want Wizadora to put a spell on you, because she will, and she can still do it, as you can see. I will join everybody in the next podcast video. Until then, I will see you very soon, my friends. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Oh, that was amazing. Thanks, James.
That's all right. No
Thank
problem.
you for showing us Top and Sticky again. That was brilliant. What a nice treat. And I'm so pleased you preserved them and kept them well. They're in such good hands. And I hope one day your dream comes true to actually build your museum. I'll come and see it.
I
Yeah,
would
you
as
need to
well,
live over it.
James.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go and take my car.
Yes.
But sure,
Yeah.
I will be in
I don't know
contact
how
with you.
to watch your program, Sean. I've got no idea.
I will let you know. I'll let you know, but I will be in contact because I have a little gift that I want to present to you as well for being on the podcast.
You're so sweet. Okay, have a lovely evening. It's lovely to meet you, James. And nice
And
to
you all the best.
and
Lots of
happy
love, Lizzie.
fathering,
Bye-bye.
Sean. That's great. Bye, angels. Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.